For many Irish people and for the Irish diaspora around the world, Foxford means comfort. This place has been producing high quality woolen goods for over 130 years. But when all that work began, life was far from comfortable for the people of Foxford. Foxford was a prosperous little town in the early 19th century, but the Great Famine of the 1840s hit this place very hard, with widespread hunger and death. One report from 1846 mentions entire families here lying dead in their homes. In one family home, 8 were confined to bed by hunger and fever, attended to by a boy of 6 years old. The catastrophe of the famine led to a wave of emigration from Ireland. Hundreds of thousands of people were forced to leave these shores because of grinding poverty here. And emigration was particularly high in the west of Ireland, which had been worst hit by the famine. In the 1890s, Foxford, like so many other small towns in Mayo, was a poor and desolate place, with little hope for its young people beyond the boat to America. A contemporary resident described Foxford as a God-forsaken district. That was the environment into which Sister Agnes Morrogh Bernard arrived in 1891 to set up a convent here. She was a member of the Religious Sisters of Charity, an order founded by Mary Aikenhead to focus especially on care for the poor. Sister Agnes was already quite experienced when she came here at the age of 49. She had worked in schools in Dublin's inner city, and in Ballahadreen she had founded a cookery school, a bakery and a cooperative for dressmaking, crochet and lace making. When she established the new convent in Foxford, her first priority was the education of the young. To encourage children to come to school, a meal of porridge and milk was provided in the schoolroom, and the curriculum there had a focus on practical skills. The nuns here worked with local families to give advice on health and hygiene, providing medicine for the sick. But then something much more ambitious was tried: the establishment of a local weaving industry, centered on a mill harnessing the power of the River Moy. She had the dream, but she needed wise advice, and she found it in a surprising place. She made contact with an entrepreneur by the name of John Charles Smith, owner of Caledon Mills in County Tyrone. He was a Protestant and a bit bemused by this nun at first, but he helped generously, advising on the building of the mill and the purchase of machinery. How was all this funded? The Religious Sisters of Charity took the huge risk of mortgaging their mother house in Dublin to fund this project, which came to be named Providence Woollen Mills, and which welcomed its first workers on the 26th of April 1892. At first, everyone involved was a total amateur, and the work produced was basic at best. But Sister Agnes drove everyone to aim for excellence, and soon she was sending her best workers to compete in arts exhibitions. Rapidly, the tweeds, cloths, rugs, shawls and blankets from Foxford were all the rage in Ireland and Britain, and huge commercial success followed. Just 10 years after its opening, 150 people were working in the woolen mills. Sister Agnes wasn't just a businesswoman with her eye on profit though. She was a sister aimed at helping the men, women and children of Foxford to live a full life. She raised wages regularly. She organised the construction of new homes for workers. She built sports facilities. She founded a string band and a brass band and built a music school here. She was keen to support the spiritual life of her workers too, and she facilitated retreats for them. One of them was given by the saintly Jesuit Father Willie Doyle. This industry was a community project, and a project that has continued over generations. Whenever Sister Agnes was challenged on the feasibility of this or that aspect of her project, she would answer that this work was God's work and that His providence would provide for it. And it did, decade after decade, providing dignity and prosperity to the people of Foxford and woolly comfort to many more.